in California, right? In California, there was in 2021 there was 3,576 firearms mortalities, and in that number, 140 fatal police shootings. So police officers are not going out there and going bananas, right? The numbers are so very low. But I want to ask you a question, because I know that you said that those mothers were absolutely absurd, which I can agree with to an extent, especially with that specific statement. I don't think their life is absurd, but that statement is wild. Let me ask you.
Absurd,
You say that you want to make sure that the criminal element be held accountable. Is that what did you say? You said the one group I don't see value in this is like the criminal element, right? Like,
no, I didn't say don't see value. I said the one group that I single out specifically the criminal element, whatever community, whatever ethnicity or economic, it doesn't matter. Geographic.
Got it.
It's the criminal behavior that is what I focus on.
I love that. What constitutes criminal behavior?
Well, it depends on what state you live in, doesn't it?
Okay,
California, a double murder 3 times in a row.
No, let's drop our guard for a second, be a little more vulnerable. What constitutes criminal behavior?
To be specific, it's what's defined in criminal code in a given state or county.
Penal code, vehicle code, health and safety code. That constitutes criminal behavior. It actually constitutes criminal behavior as deviance from the norm, right? It constitutes behavior as a violation of what has been acceptable from society as what a violation shall be, right? We have all these different groups, right? The Ninth Circuit Court really helps to create mold where we're at now, right or wrong, right? And then I got to look at you and I got to tell you I'm a criminal. You're interviewing a criminal.
No, what I've interviewed is somebody who's been convicted of criminal behavior, or at least arrested for criminal behavior, right?
Oh, you're talking to somebody who speeds every day?
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you're talking about your 13-year-old.
You're talking to a guy who's been drunk in public? You're talking to a guy who's drank and drove? You're talking to a guy who's had bar fights? I'm a criminal.
Yeah. Right.
How does that make you feel? You're talking to a criminal, Mark.
No, it isn't. Listen, I worked with police officers who served time in jail.
What constitutes a criminal? This is important. This is important for us to think about. It's vital for us to think about that, because then once we figure out what constitutes a criminal, when does a criminal not become a criminal anymore? When they're off parole, off probation, when they're right. Because if we're going to think about that, we're ultimately going to treat people differently if they're in that category. We have to.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you what constitutes a criminal, or defines a criminal in an actionable sense. In other words, on any given moment or a day, or someone that's working in a convenience store, or someone's walking down the street minding their own business. It's someone who actually commits a criminal offense, who actually invades their privacy, who assaults them, who batters them, who rapes them, who murders them, who carjacks it. Hang on. So that is criminal behavior. The fact that someone may have committed a crime and have served their time, they have paid their price to society, their debt to society, and they don't engage in that, here's that B word again, behavior, I'm willing to give them the pass every single day. But once they commit a new crime, they are now a criminal in my eyes until otherwise adjudicated. So that's what defines a criminal to me. Someone who embraces it. By the way, there's an old joke here. I won't get into it. It's vulgar. You help your buddy change his transmission in his car. You're not necessarily a mechanic. But if you do that every single day for a living, the joke I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think that we can use these words and, what defines this. And again, I'm totally open to that. But when we talk about society, a civil society, we have to talk in practical terms. Someone who's committed a crime, or speeds, or who's 647, I almost said 647.
Drunk in public.
Someone who's drunk in public. Exactly. You get it. Right. Someone who's drunk. Yeah. Someone who's drunk in public.
That's the penal code. I don't know if it's penal code anymore. It's the old penal code in the state of California for if you're impaired in public and you can't care for yourself. So that's how it works. Exactly. Also a good reason why firefighters and cops fight a lot. So
exactly.
No.
Yeah, because cops do all the work and firefighters get all the praise. But anyway,
that's right. They're at home planning their dinner.
But it's one thing to have committed a crime. It's another thing to engage in criminal behavior as a way of life. And these are two different things. There's so many good people who've actually committed crimes, who did something terribly stupid, who have reformed themselves, who've gotten much, much better, and who live great productive lives. And we all know those people. There are other people who decided to make it a way of life. So that's what we're talking about.